I know there's a mega huge fascination on lucid dreaming and astral projecting. And I understand because when I did it for fun, it was fun. But now that I'm not worried about fun, because doing what's right and helping people fix our problem here in our lives is much more important than just having fun, I have to explain that people who are fascinated with astral projecting and lucid dreaming don't even understand that when they're awake in their waking state, they're doing that same thing, except they're not even in control of that. So why would you want to spend your physical life not speaking the truth, not doing what you should? If your astral projections or lucid dreaming ever were true or real, you would actually start understanding the kind of stuff I'm saying instead of be fascinated by your own personal endeavors. Because your endeavors that don't add up to mean anything actually don't add up to mean anything. Isn't that sort of interesting? I mean, look around you. Things that add up either pile up or add up. If you have a astral projection or a lucid dreaming excursion, and you think like, oh, this is true, this is whatever, and you can't show what it means, then guess what? It's just your mind messing with you. So I want to try to explain that there is no difference between when I'm awake or sleeping. I don't astral project anymore. I don't quote unquote lucid dream anymore. I am lucid 100% of the time. When I'm sleeping, I know that it's Dan's body sitting there appearing to be unconscious to the outside world. But I'm the same exact thing happening inside my mind that happens when I'm awake, Dan, walking around in the everyday world. That same exact thing is all I am anymore. That's a connection to God, if anyone ever had it. When I sleep, I know what's happening out there in the world, and I don't have anyone to stop me from knowing. I don't have anything to distract my attention from, what is happening. So when I'm awake, there are things where I have to play Dan, and I have to act like this is important. I have to act like that's important. But I know what keeps my body alive because I come back to it when I wake. And I maintain it while I sleep in time, or else I would disappear. It sounds stupid, so I'm not even going to decide to say stuff like that, but it would just be like I died in my sleep and people just discarded my body in time. That's what it would seem like. No big deal. We all do this kind of stuff. So many times it's just not even funny. I do it every time I do sleep, and it's real. I know who dies. I know what happens. I know, and it's just freaky. Trying to explain it to people is pointless. So the point that I'm trying to make is that people need to get off of their fantasy island, whether it's in the real world or the fake world or the VR world or the Oculus camera world. Get your mind out of fantasy and start living in physical reality for a little bit and start affecting that in a better way before you die. Whether you have to sacrifice your fun, risk your life, any of those things. Because that is what you're here for. If that doesn't make sense, do you think that you were here to make money for somebody and watch cool movies? Or make money somehow, maybe sell drugs, maybe shake your ass, whatever. Go out to the clubs? Do you think that's what you were here for? Doesn't that explain to you what souls would do in either heaven or hell? Because people who like partying and whatever think heaven's partying. People who think people acting like heathenistically would be like hell. That's hell. You're here right now. Your true self has died into a human being, or dove into a vital expression. You've died into a human being to understand your higher self. You're only here for that. You aren't here to be a human being and to make the good name for yourself. And if that's what you want to do, go ahead and do it. But stop hurting other people. That's fine. But understand what you're here to do. I'm here to actually raise consciousness. People say they want to talk about raising consciousness, and they talk love and light and eating fruits and vegetables. Great. Well, if you understood what I understood, you would see that what I'm saying is how the human civilization rises in consciousness by using their higher faculties, not to make money for stupid reasons, not to go out and do things for other people who run their lives. If you were conscious, that is what you would talk about. I'm sorry to say that nobody out there teaching anything right now is saying anything that matters because they don't really understand. They aren't enlightened. They may know a bunch and they are good people. Great. But there's a fact that the truth is going to be something you might not like to hear. And somebody who loves you very much will tell you that. I'm sorry, man. That's going to hurt you. No, it won't. Yes, it will. It's going to hurt you. That is something you don't want to do. Yeah, I do. No, you don't. Because if you do it, this is going to happen. It's going to have a very negative reaction on you. Someone who loves you will do that. That's what I do all the time. And I can't just not comment on something when somebody asks me and wants my honest opinion, or when it's bad enough where I should say something or else something bad's going to happen. But I'll sit there and I'll keep my mouth shut, watching the world tear itself apart when I know I can fix it. I literally know that I'm the only person who knows how to fix the world. And everyone else gets mad at me if I even say anything along those lines. I put a comment on Facebook that said, what happens when you have nothing left to learn, but only things to teach? And both of my cousins, who've never really answered anything that I've said, both said, we all have more to learn. And one said, God has lessons for all of us to learn. And I'm thinking like, oh my goodness, please don't use God, because you don't know what God really is. You've been taught. You haven't felt it. I am it. I feel it. I am it. I know it. And don't tell me I don't. Sit with me for a little while and you'll start to know it. And it'll freak you out because it's not the stories. It's you through your living light name. And that's what you're doing. Always have. Always will. You've just never heard it that way, so it sounds weird. But the truth is weird. You're a word. And the truth is we're the word. We're God. We're all of us are God. We're trying to fix God from the inside. And what are we doing? We're being ruined from our insides out. And don't let people do it. I'm here to stop it. And if you don't like people saying it, then you aren't really having any hope to do anything good in your life. If you don't want to stop people controlling your life, then what the hell do you think you're doing? You're doing anything good if you're allowing people to control other people's lives, including your own? Or if you're one of those people who wants to control other people? Do you really think you're doing something good? And if you do, what the hell is wrong with you? No, that's all I'm going to say for now. It's just one of those things where people have to get their heads out of their rumpicus and start doing something a little smarter. Please, for your own sake. I don't need it. You need it. I'm just making it apparent and saying it so everyone can understand it clearly.